as I mentioned, I was down in Melbourne last week, saw this man at work. He made a name for himself as an AFL star. Then he went to the States as a punter, played with 4 franchises, and now heads up NFL on SEN every Monday with Jordan Canellis. Ben Graham, welcome to Brekkie with Vossy and Brandy.
Good morning, guys. How are you? Yeah, I knew nothing about Thanksgiving either before I moved to America, but I tell you what, it's right up there with Christmas on the holiday calendar in the States, particularly when it comes to the NFL. But have you ever tried the turducken?
Where they put the turducken. I've heard a bit about the duckins. That's the turkey and duck and chicken all together.
They put it all in the one, put it in the oven, bit of cranberry, bit of camembert. Oh, it's beautiful. And it's great for toasted sandwiches the next day. But I tell you what we've got this weekend in America is Thanksgiving football, and it starts tomorrow here in Australia. 3 huge games. It's a massive holiday on the US sporting calendar. It's a public holiday, and it's treated like Christmas. It's a family affair. You have your friends over, and you give thanks. You give thanks to your family, your friends, to the food, and to the football. And there's been some massive games. I've played on Thanksgiving before and understand what a big occasion it is. We got some cracking games this weekend, but this is one of the best weekends on the sporting calendar in the NFL.
Ben, it's a real honour, if I'm not mistaken, to play on Thanksgiving. How do they decide which teams participate?
Well, generally, it used to be the Cowboys. The Detroit Lions had a spot on Thanksgiving for a long, long time, and they do again tomorrow. But based on the fixturing, they do try and mix it up. But what they want to do is make sure that people get an opportunity to have their lunch, and then they can sit down and watch a good game between 2 good football teams. So, you know, it's a fixturing challenge for them, but the traditional teams are the Cowboys and the Lions, and I did play for the Lions on Thanksgiving, and it feels like a playoff game because the entire nation is watching you on a public holiday. It's not like a suite of 8 games where only really the market that you're playing in is watching it. It is a national, and in our case, an international spotlight is on you. So they're huge games. They have huge entertainment before and at halftime. They do it really, really well. And it's this time of the year, so there's only 5 weeks to go after this weekend. So this is where we're really starting to see the teams emerge, if they haven't already, because in both the AFC and the NFC, there are a number of teams in that logjam fighting for a wild card spot. So this is sort of when you start sorting out the wheat from the chaff.
Ben, your Detroit Lions at 10-1, they'll be smashing the 4-7 Bears, won't they?
Well, the form line suggests that. I mean, the Bears, we thought that they were going to be okay. Young quarterback Caleb Williams, number 1 pick overall. They got to the bye at 4-2. They've lost the last 5 games. And, you know, blocked field goal against the Packers, some mistakes against the Vikings, forced overtime but lost by a field goal. The Lions, though, they're humming. 10-1, Dan Campbell's got them up and about. Jared Goff's in the MVP conversation. The best duo running backs in David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. The defense is playing well. They're on a 9-game winning streak. They should obliterate the Bears. But any given Sunday would suggest that this might be closer than people give it credit for. We've seen it so often when the underdog, this is in Detroit, but this will feel like a playoff game. And this is good for the Lions and the Lions fans. Again, I was playing for the Lions. We'd made the playoffs for the first time in over 2 decades. I understand what it means to this city. They haven't won a playoff game before last year's playoff series since 1991. They're one of 4 teams that never been to a Super Bowl. So the Lions are a team that, you know, you might barrack for someone else, but they are definitely a second team worthy to follow because the fans of Detroit have been starved of success in the NFL for so long. They're at the top of their game. They're only a field goal away from making the Super Bowl last year, so they're close. This is not that's out of the box. They've been building for a number of years through the trade and free agency. They're well coached. I mean, I've got a soft spot for them, obviously, because I played for them. But yeah, this is a great time to be a Lions fan.
Sounds like they could have signed Jerome Luai too, might have helped them in that situation. Cowboys and Giants tomorrow, neither have enjoyed a great season, but they get a start on Thanksgiving Day. So it is like a Super Saturday. The matches are well spaced, and you could sit there on your public holiday having stuffed yourself with your Tudurkin, and your cranberry sauce, Lions, Bears into Cowboys, Giants, and then brush home with Packers, Dolphins. What time Packers, Dolphins finish? By the time you got through the day, boy oh boy, it's a lot of hours of football.
But they're equipped for it. They wait 12 months for this day. The Giants and the Cowboys will probably be the game that people will watch more for morbid reasons than anything else. I mean, the Giants are a basket case. They've completely botched the Daniel Jones situation, who's just signed with the Minnesota Vikings, mind you. So he's back in the NFL with Kevin O'Connell. And the Cowboys, well, I mean, everyone loves to talk about the Cowboys. The NFL's a better place when they're a good football team, but this year they completely suck, guys. They have been a disaster. They've lost 5 games in a row. They snuck one against the Commanders last week, but there's all sorts of issues going on at the Cowboys. But, you know, for all the wrong reasons, we'll be watching this one. Neither team will make the playoffs, but it's a nice little bridge between watching the Lions play, who I think should be the Super Bowl favourites, into the Dolphins and the Packers. This is a huge game because the Miami Dolphins, they lost their quarterback Tua Tagovailoa to a concussion. He missed a number of weeks. They didn't win through that stretch. They've won the last 3. They're a highly talented offense, and they are a team from outside the AFC playoff picture that can really make a run for it. I mean, they're like a sexy football team. They've got Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, Devon Achane. They're fast, they're explosive, and Tua Tagovailoa is a good quarterback. They play the Packers, who we know the Packers made the playoffs last year, won a playoff game. They're behind Jordan Love, the young quarterback. They've won 6 of the last 7 games. They smashed the 49ers last week. So this is going to be a good matchup between good teams. One will play playoffs, and the Miami Dolphins, if they win this, will be on their way to what will be an unlikely playoff berth. But there'll be plenty to like about this game.
It sounds like the Ben Graham multi is Lions, Cowboys, Packers. Has Hutchie given you the day off? Are you in action tomorrow, Ben?
No. Well, actually, we've got the SEN Thanksgiving dinner tonight. Hutchie and I, our paths crossed at Geelong when I was playing, and he was in the media. And then when I moved to New York to play, he was over there to embark on his sports and entertainment journey. The first Thanksgiving we were in New York, a bunch of Aussies, including Hutchie, caught a train out to our place, and we enjoyed our first Thanksgiving with Hutchie. So Hutchie's very much got that American Thanksgiving veins running through him, and it's been an institution here in Melbourne for the last, as long as I can remember. Since I've been back anyway. So
we need to give more thanks. I think we need to give more thanks at all times. So I don't mind adopting it in some shape or form. We're doing it tomorrow here on our program, Ben. We've got our Club Med Caller of the Year. We're giving away a family trip to Bali for one of our listeners from the year, our Club Med Caller. So we're in that sort of mode. Ben, comprehensive wrap as always. You do a great job on SEN with regards the NFL, and always great having you on the program.
Thanks, guys. Happy Thanksgiving.
And to you, Ben. And to you.
There we go. Beautiful stuff. Now, I can tell you, too, from the Australian Open Golf, Elvis Smiley opened with a bogey at the first. Cam Smith has parred the first, so early doors. First 4 groups now out on course, and Elvis Smiley among them. Last week's PGA winner bogeying the first, but that is the start of the Australian Open, underway for the last 25 minutes or so.
We are here thanks to Bryden's Lawyers. Unable to work due to injury or illness, you go straight to Bryden's on 1800 848 848.